5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Ahoy hoy everyone and welcome. Today I am your host, it is ShadowFox, and we're doing an LMC cast our eyes forward as we look at what is happening for the rest of this year. Or at least what we're interested in. Because with me I have our regular host, Mr. Urtheart.
Yarg.
And I'd hesitate to call him a guest, it's the boss man himself, Kevin.
Hello.
2024. It's already, coming up to a quarter of the way done?
Oh, God.
I know.
Yeah.
How did this happen? Who let this occur? Was it you?
Oh, I mean, if I could stop the passage of time, I would probably choose a very specific moment, at least. But then I would maybe stop it. But yes, we have an entire year to look forward to. And we thought we'd have a look at what we might be seeing in this year that we at least have some kind of affiliation with, or not affiliation, but interest and want for. I know
that we know so far.
Yeah, we know so far. Anyway, yes. I've got a couple of things that I would like to see this year, but who knows? It might be another year or two or three. Silksong.
Yeah, don't put any hopes on that one.
No, yeah, that one is a long, forlorn, forgotten memory. It'll appear in front of you when it appears.
No, it's a Duke Nukem Forever.
No, yeah.
It's like there's glimpses and hints here and there. Who knows if they're actually working on it or whether they're twiddling their thumbs in the basement.
It's kind of crazy.
What one was this?
Silksong, the next Hollow Knight.
Oh, you can't say Duke Nukem Forever.
No.
Remember, you can't say Duke Nukem Forever because Duke Nukem Forever isn't the record holder.
No, but I can say it's a very similar dev cycle to it.
Well, actually,
Duke Nukem Forever's come out. Well, you've got to say Beyond Good and Evil 2, which has smashed the record.
It has smashed the record, but has it been in a continuous state of development? Because Duke Nukem
Technically, yes.
In theory, yes.
Theory, yes.
I'm going to say it's closer to Duke Nukem Forever at the moment, and it's getting on to Beyond Good and Evil 2. It's not quite there yet.
I can't even remember when the original one was, actually.
Long ago,
yeah.
But yes, that's the fantasies. What about the real? Well, what about the stuff we know? Because the thing is, actually, there's not a lot announced post July. I would say. I think that's waiting for not E3 season to come along.
Yes, obviously browsing forward and seeing what's on that list of things, so I can get a nice little write up. It's like it kind of gets to August, and the list gets very short of planned release dates for there.
But that'll all get announced.
It'll get
either post financial year start, so April beyond, or not E3 happening in June, July with He Who Should Not Be Named of the announcement and doesn't really do much else with his life wise. And I think, you probably get Nintendo Direct, Xbox Direct, PlayStation Direct, and all that kind of stuff.
Every company has their own Direct now, and they'll announce something or
Pretty
another.
Much. Sorry, State of Play. I should know all these, really, because I have to...
Oh, no, yeah. We had an Xbox One recently, but that was just a business chat thing, wasn't it?
That was a... We've made it sound like we're exiting the entire business... Yeah. Well, we need to speak about it.
Except they've confirmed they've got a new console coming out later this year.
Yeah, to be fair, it wasn't even Xbox who said that. It was, I don't know, some quote journalistic site.
Yeah. Unfortunately, they didn't do much to dispel that
No, they decided.
So it was like, we're not going anywhere.
But we're not bringing all our games to other consoles.
Yeah, they just sat
which, as we know, is the crime of the century.
Oh god, no. What do you
Heaven
mean?
help!
What do you mean this thing is an exclusive? I bought this console for nothing.
You said
I've enjoyed this game for years, whilst others have not been allowed to, and now that others may have the opportunity to go out and buy the game that I've been going on about for ages, I am absolutely outraged.
The thing is, that has happened very recently with Final Fantasy XIV, because it's just released on Xbox after 10 years. Some people are furious.
How dare you?
No, genuinely.
How dare you share this joy?
We had the Kingdom Hearts games as well come out, didn't we?
Yeah.
On Xbox. I don't recall that being much of a fuss then.
Yeah.
Because it was like, oh, good, everyone can finally enjoy this, and no, apparently not. But then again, this is the same sort of situation as Sonic game has come out on Apple, and we will react to this in an extremely mature way.
I feel as though the whole console wars, there was big console wars. Then we kind of, last generation, people stopped giving a shit. And now again, it's console wars again.
It's real strange entitlement.
It is, and let's be real here. All those games are going to PC now anyway. Even you've got your God of War on PC and stuff. So
exactly. What's the problem? PC. Oh, that's fine, but you know.
Yeah, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, I expect to get there like in a year and a half's time.
The
only one that's still a problem is Nintendo.
I think I actually remember the console wars were an actual issue at one point when during the Xbox 360 era for Call of Duty players, because the PlayStation, PlayStation got Destiny and Call of Duty stuff like early. Was it Call of Duty stuff as well?
Well, no, Call of Duty was Xbox 360 until Xbox One and PS4, and then it transferred to PlayStation. And then it was just like everyone stopped. This was like one of the reasons people went from Xbox 360 to PS4 rather than to Xbox One. Although them shooting themselves in the foot by going, you can't play second-hand games, really did not help.
Yeah, no, the whole, hey, we're making effectively a Steam-style setup on the console,
But that works with physical discs as well.
Yeah, that was,
Yeah. Anyway, we're looking on the back, but you need to remember some of the past to look forward to the future and the good stuff happening.
And to see the cycles continue no matter what.
Yeah, they say those who forget the past are doomed to repeat it, and apparently that doesn't matter. You can know the past and you'll still repeat the same problems.
Now where do you think you're going? The party is this way! And trust me, it's to die for! I know we'll be the best of friends, so there's no need to run. The sooner you get dead, the sooner you can join the fun. No need to fear, for I am here. Your mortal form will disappear. Now should we use this rusty knife or acid water gun? There's a million gruesome ways to die. Oh, why resist when the party's just begun? You'll be having so much fun. There's a million gruesome ways to die. Why stay alive? And I'm sure your death will be second to none. Dynamite is quick, but it makes a lot of mess. And flattened by a cow is just embarrassing at best. But baked into a yummy cake or dropped into a pit of snakes, though drowning in a lobster tank might hurt a little less. There's a million gruesome ways to die. How about impaled upon a spike? Oh, why resist when the party's just begun? Maybe something on a bike. There's a million gruesome ways to die. We could bury you alive. We're sure your death will be second to none. We could put you in a cage with the hungry alligator. Drop you in a volcano with an active crater. Like to fight a dragon armed with nothing but a shoe. We could do a mommy's curse. We'll put you in a fancy hearse. Or turn into a stuffy now. That's something we can do. There's a million gruesome ways to die. I thought I'd try the guillotine. Oh, why resist when the party's just begun? I gave so hard I broke my spleen. There's a million gruesome ways to die. There must be something we can try. We're sure your death will be second to none. Maybe you can choke upon a grape to die. Put you in a blender and trapeze to die. Maybe we can find an angry mob, tie you on a stake and cook you up like a kebab to die. Smothered by a pillow in your bed to die. A gluten overdose from too much bread to die. Then you can join the party 'cause you're dead. I'm sure your death will be second to Mr. Reaper's beckoning you. Sure your death will be second to none.
Yes, forward. I say, shall we? I say, I don't know if people have like a big old list of things or if they just want to, because I could just throw out something that I think.
I mean, I've got a list. I don't know whether you want to do like one game at a time or we do just do our entire list in one go.
Can I preface before we even do that? Right, so there's a very handy article on GameSpot.
Oh, is there?
I'm going to name check the person who's keeping this up to date. It's a Gabe Gerwin. Thank you for keeping this up to date, because this is very clearly an evergreen thing which is updated as and when, which has the list of all the games coming out and all the ones that we know about and when are locked for various months and have specific dates, but also the to be announced list.
Yes.
Many games. And you know what? I spent a good 10 minutes, 15 minutes going through both of those. Going through that twice, and I have a grand list after looking through everything that's coming out over the next year of 0.
Wow.
There is absolutely goddamn nothing, with the exception of Llamasoft, the Jeff Minter story, which I don't know anything about, but sounds far more like a documentary, thanks very much, than an actual game.
Interactive documentary, probably.
So I look for what? It's Jeff. So wait.
Don't play as Jeff.
Yeah, it's gonna be bloody Dragon's Lair, but with you have to control Jeff Minter as he goes around his farm, milking the goats and taking care of the llamas before heading back to his bedroom to code the next.
Someone would play that, and you know that.
It's a fantastic sim game where you just take on Jeff Minter. If it is that, oh, sign me up. Absolutely stuff. Absolutely. Oh god. What you don't know is that it's a skin for Unicam Studio.
Oh, of course it would be.
Well, I'll tell you what.
What else? So you guys tell me what stuff you're looking forward to, and I'll go ooh.
Ooh,
I won't know it's coming out.
Well, I'll start with the things that I'm looking forward to in the year that have already come out, and then I'll let ShadowFox take over a little bit. But there's 2 games that I'm currently playing through that I'm looking forward to. One being a game that was released very recently, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which has sucked a lot of my time already and is going to continue doing so because it is very good. But, oh boy, am I confused by certain parts of it, which I think I mentioned to you recently, Kev.
Yes.
It's like, okay, this has changed dramatically, I think. But the problem is, I can't remember some of the middle bits of Final Fantasy VII anymore, the original. So I've had to go, okay, I think I need to go replay Final Fantasy VII again, just to remember the story how it was, and see where my mind's triggering me and not. But that's certainly been enjoyable.
An excuse to go back is a terrible thing. It's like when you have those side-by-side comparison videos of classic version versus modern version, how things have changed.
Pretty much. I mean, 7 Rebirth has changed quite a bit, let's be fair.
No,
Right, so when you say that is confusing, right?
Mm.
Is it a wait, what? Or is it a huh? Because
Both.
that's two very different. That's two
both
very different things.
in
Which one is
both in
it?
different sections is the problem. Because there are
Okay.
some is like I will tell you some of the stuff near the end is like, wait, what? No, you can't do that. Because that completely. This is supposed to be like remaking the original story. You've just completely changed everything. Or have you? I don't understand. And then some of it's just
I
like,
worry about it when if it leaves you feeling I don't understand.
yeah.
If it's like, wow, crazy, that's crazy, I can't wait to see it happen. But if it leaves you feeling like you just don't understand what's happened.
Yeah. Whereas there's other bits, like one of the big side quests is like, oh man, that's great. I'm glad they've added this. It doesn't change anything like material to the story, but it adds so much more as just a fun thing, and that's great. For anyone that is wanting to play Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, do the Proto Relic missions. They're very good, and they have some of the funniest cutscenes. But that's because of the character it introduces, and it's a known character, just not from Final Fantasy VII, which probably gives away who it is. Anyway. So yes, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth been great, but the other one which is going to take me a while to get through is actually a game that was released. I say it's a game; it's a mod for a game that was released last year, and it's for the game Doom 2.
That modern hit, yeah.
Yeah, but it's a 2023 mod called Ramp 2023, which is Rabbit's all-comers mapping project, and it's basically an invitational. Hey, do you want to start learning to make Doom maps? Here you go. Here's tutorials to help you, and I will publish all the levels that get submitted to this thing. Do you want to know how many levels it? Yeah, it's just been running for 3 years now. Do you want to know how many levels are in this new one?
So hang on. So it's gonna. So what? 3 years you said it's been out, or?
Yeah, this is its third year. So they did 2021, 2022, 2023.
2,736.
No, Kevin is definitely closer.
Damn.
But he's still lowballed it.
502.
296, not including the hub world map, because the hub world map has its own puzzle, which is randomized every time you play.
So that's fantastic. I love things like that because that's keeping a classic game fresh, and it is building on it. And you're also got a situation where you're teaching people a lot of gameplay, game design fundamentals. That's fantastic.
What's really good about it is it's meant to be as I said, all-comers mapping project. So you do have some expert mappers in there showing off some very advanced stuff. Then you've also got the newbies who are learning stuff, and some are very ambitious, some are very basic. You've also got like a lot of things. It's like, hey, this wouldn't work in a normal map project. Here you go. And I'm going to give one example, which is a level called Carl the Friendly Archdemon.
Is it an
Which is
escort mission?
It is, except you're the escort because Carl is way more powerful than you, and you don't have any weapons.
Oh, so you just have to try and not
So,
die while he
if,
deals with
if
everything.
you don't know what the Archviles are, they're basically one of the nastier enemies in Doom 2. They can basically instant hit you with a massive like flame underneath your feet, which does a lot of damage, and they can also resurrect other enemies that you've killed. So what happens in this level is you've got this friendly Archvile with you, and as soon as you open the first door, you get attacked by a load of monsters, and the first thing he does is go and flame them all, and then he'll revive them all, and then they work on your side, so you have to basically have him escort you through.
You're just playing a bullet hell where you have to dodge every projectile that's coming out of them and from towards you.
Yeah, well, I mean, the first enemy you fight the Pinkies, which don't fire anything, but yeah, later on you're fighting like Arachnotrons, which fire laser beams at you, Mancubus, which fire like double rockets at you, and you have to fight a Cyber Demon as a boss. So there is one secret in the level, which is a Berserker pack, which means you can start helping him kill people by punching them. But that's a kind of level that wouldn't work in a normal like Doom map pack. So here it's really great, and the hub world's set up really nicely as well. So you have you start in this little area which has 7 routes off it, and it's like 6 convention halls that all are different themes, which house a variety of levels. And then you've got like one at the back, which is the mini game, which is as you complete levels, it will form paths depending on which levels you beat. And it has like background information on why the project was started and how he does his tutorials and stuff like that. It's really cool. And then in the hub world where you are, there's like a little number pad which you can in-game punch in a number, and it'll go, you want to play this level then? Follow the orange arrow to figure out where it is, and it'll take you to the level you want. So yeah, there's 296 levels, and they all have like 2 scores. They have a size score and a difficulty score from 1 to 6 for both. And I'm finding I'm struggling with anything above a 3. So I may have had to cheat on one of the 6 levels because I knew it was difficult. Which is a Doom version of Tetris that lasts an hour.
Oh, what?
and culminates in a battle against 4 cyber demons at the same time. Because you just
Naturally.
I got it's extreme version of Tetris here.
Yeah, but yeah, that's something I would advise maybe looking up, watching if you're not a massive Doom fan. But if you have Doom 2, you just download the source port. Probably GZ Doom is the easiest one, and download the WOD pack, and that's it. You can play all 296 levels just like that.
Hey.
So that's a long term, like something to play on a quick night where I just want to do like 15 minutes worth of Doom. But that's current ones.
So that's your
that will
current.
go into the future.
That's that. I've certainly have a couple of those myself. Sort of one of those being that Palia game that was I played a little bit on stream at one point.
Oh yes.
Sort of a semi sort of Stardew-esque kind of, but in a more you get to sit behind the character rather than up top and looking down at them like a god. It got to a point where it was like it was still early access, and I honestly I should have probably put it. I was tempted to put it into my honourable mentions of the game of the year because it still wasn't quite, still not there yet. But being able to make your own little house and farm, and hopefully they bring in the animals properly, because right now it's only just plants and stuff. But it's kind of like fun little mini games with the plants, in that each plant gives the plants next to it different buffs. So if you want to try and maximize your income to make a bigger house, you have to figure out, right, do I need quality seeds to make the quality of these better? These to make more of plant these to make more of the things around it. These so I don't have to bother watering them. These so I don't have to bother weeding all the plants, because otherwise that just takes up time. But yeah, it's still ongoing, and it's coming to Steam in April, I think.
Wait, so what did you play it on originally?
They've got their own launcher at the moment.
Oh, okay.
But yes, so it's on Steam, and if you wish list it on Steam, they've got a little ongoing challenge thing. The more times it's wish listed, if it's wish listed up to like 500,000 times or something, we get a giant plushy thing that we can place in our homes.
Fair enough. It's a goal.
It's a goal. It's a good goal.
Ambitious goal.
I can't remember the exact numbers, but yeah. But I think the thing I'm actually most looking forward to in terms of things I'm already somewhat invested in is the final chapter in Destiny's 2 Light and Darkness campaign.
Yeah, I did see that. I mean, is this essentially going to be the end of the current story arc and then they're going to make Destiny 3 maybe? Or is it, hey, this is the last of the storyline and then the next expansion will be a brand new storyline?
Yeah, I'm not entirely certain because they were doing series or seasons. It's like in every 3 months you have a season, pretty much standard fare for all these live service games, as they say.
Games as a service.
Games as a service, yeah. You know, I would say when it comes to games as a service, the word "game" is in there, and that is something that some companies need to remember, not just the service part. But yes, because like Destiny 2, I've been like waning on it for the past few years. You know, I'll come in for like, you know, the big story beats, but otherwise I'll just kind of go, whatever. I'll play what I want. I recently came back in because they had the holiday event, which if you did a certain quest line, you got to a hoverboard, which is a new method of transport.
Oh yeah, I did see that.
Yeah, so of course I came in, did that, got that, and went, cool, back on the shelf.
Done.
Yeah,
because I've been off to Destiny 2 for a while.
Yeah.
And we used to have
Are they
a couple
still
of
developing Destiny 2?
Oh, I
Are
mean,
they actually still
theory.
developing, or is this one of those ones that's
no.
once this one's come out, it's all going to be everyone's going to be fired?
Well, so the current state, of Bungie is that
Is a state.
It's
Yes.
yeah, it's currently a case of they are on the brink of being completely owned by Sony and controlled by Sony, rather than just
I
basically
thought they were trying
fund
to
it.
buy their independence back.
It's been working out well for them, isn't it?
It's yeah, so it's like, hey Bungie, hey, we're part of Xbox, and then we got our freedom. And then we went to Sony, and that might have been a mistake as well. So...
Because they did have their new marathon project they're working on as well, didn't they?
Yeah, they do, and I don't really want to say too much about that because I've seen that apparently it's got like a Overwatch hero style system for multiplayer. It looks like, which
that's been working well recently for Overwatch, eh?
Oh yeah, Overwatch is absolutely also in a great state. But yeah, no. So Destiny 2, depending on how this goes, it could be Bungie becomes Sony Bungie, or they stay Bungie. But yeah, I mean, we've had this whole storyline going on. It's been one of the few live service games that's actually kind of had a decent single player, or at least a decent campaign mode going throughout. Because most of the other live service games are all pretty much entirely multiplayer. Actually, no, I lie about that. I think Sea of Thieves has actually usually got something going on, but it's still kind of multiplayer focused.
Yeah.
But yeah, so they're now going over to episodes, which is less frequent but more thought put in. And of course, so they're adding all the usual stuff. You know, they're adding a new raid, new dungeons, new subclasses, this, that. But I remember one of the original trailers for it contained Cade. Who?
Oh yeah, it wasn't like. Didn't it look like Cade was coming back?
Yeah. So like, obviously, Cade, Nathan Fillion, I believe, wasn't it?
Yeah.
The voice actor. So he got offed a few seasons back, probably a couple of years back at this point.
Which made me stop playing the game.
Yeah, he was.
Because in game he was my boss.
He was. Yeah, he was. As a new Hunter exclusive player, it made me a little bit bummed as well. But yeah, it was like he came back for a trailer and everyone's like, oh, so is this whole darkness thing, the darkness guy has come in, he's kicked our ass, he's made a portal, he's gone through, and we've basically just been twiddling our thumbs, getting prepared for this year to follow him to finish whatever has started.
Finish the fight.
Yeah, I was trying to not say finish the fight. I was like, I don't want to say finish the fight.
It's Bungie.
It's Bungie.
Monetary permission to finish the fight. Call the quartermaster. Can we go yet?
If you do bring any character back to life, Cade at least makes some sense, considering, you know, he's a robot, per se.
Yeah. It's one of the few who get, or an exo.
I mean, to be fair, I was an exo as well. So.
Oh yeah, my hunter was an exo as well. It seemed to be hunters and exos seemed to be the right combo. But yeah, it was I'm actually looking forward to seeing how the story ends, because even though I haven't played it, I've been following along more or less. So
it's still a fun game per se. It's just they got a bit repetitive with the content, really.
I mean that's it. I mean, honestly, anything that goes on for as long as that, TV shows, series, movie franchises, eventually you kind of hit a point where you go, this is the same thing I've seen before. There's only so many different types of guns you can make that are fancy. But I don't know, I'm still looking forward to that. Gonna play that. Gonna at least enjoy that part of it. Whether or not I continue with it, we'll see. I'm still currently quite invested in Helldivers, so if it can yank me away from that, that'll be a bonus.
I would love to, but I kind of want to get into it myself. I just kind of at a point in the moment where I'm like, do I have the time to play Helldivers? No. Should I wait to see if it goes down in price? Maybe.
There will definitely be a sale for it at some point.
Oh.
terms of looking forward of things that I've already at least touched on and played, I think that's pretty much the main ones.
I can give you my two now, if you want, that are like, well, essentially one's a DLC, one's an expansion pack.
I go for it.
So, and unfortunately, they're now coming out within a week of each other, as we've just found out. But I'll get to that one. So, the first big one was announced a few weeks back now. Elden Ring is finally getting its first DLC, like a year and a half after it launched. Wow. To be fair, I imagine it's going to be quite a chunky DLC. Because if it's anything like... Because Dark Souls 3 had two DLCs. One was moderate size, and the other one was like, you've literally added another half to the game here.
Yeah,
and I think
my first question is it DLC or is it 1.5?
We're not entirely sure. Well, this is the thing. We're not entirely sure. So, Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree is kind of filling in one of the big gaps in Elden Ring, which is what happened to one of the demigods. That's mentioned loads, but we do see, but they're already kind of like not alive quite. The only problem is we don't really know much more than that. We know we're going to get to go to a new area. We know there's going to be new weapons. We already know there's going to be new bosses. We think there might be a new status effect. But that's kind of all we know, despite there being quite a big trailer for it. But it's more Elden Ring. What more do I want? My biggest concern is more a case of how much harder is it going to be? Because, again, going back to Dark Souls 3, I never finished that second DLC because it's so bloody difficult.
I mean, I don't think I can't say I've ever finished a Dark Souls because I often get confused halfway through and go, ah.
Yeah, that's the thing. Was it last year when I played Dark Souls 1 with Gavi, I actually made the concentrated effort of, because I was going to do a load of stuff ahead of Gavi and I wanted to try some stuff I'd never done before. After I'd finished helping Gavi through the main game, I wanted to try and get all the achievements for Dark Souls 1, which is theoretically both the easiest and the hardest to do, because it doesn't require any online multiplayer, per se. And I managed to do it. I got the Platinum Trophy for Dark Souls 1. I have 100%ed Dark Souls 2 in the past. I'm not going to do it again, because it's an absolute arse. Although I didn't Platinum it, because 2 of the achievements require you to play through the game without you using a bonfire and without dying. Which, yeah.
That's no, that's too much. That's too much.
Not at the same time. You can do them separately. There is one guy who did both at the same time, and dear Lord, why? But yeah, I never finished the final DLC for Dark Souls 3. And I really wish I could have, but it just was getting too difficult for me. And I did Platinum Elden Ring, but I don't know if I can be asked to do that for the DLC. But I am still excited for it, because it's like, I want to see what they've done. I want to see the new stuff. Because I would happily play that game again from the start. Because it's just got so many little bits to it and like I watched someone else play through it, and there's so many things that I did not know happened in it, just from like when you interact with certain NPCs and stuff. So
I'd say I've seen videos of like in certain Dark Souls, like, if you just engage with characters in certain orders, you get certain events that happen. It's like this guy might disappear, or you might save him, meet him further down the road if you do X, Y, and Z.
Yeah, and in Dark Souls 3, that's really important for one of the bosses, because it makes that boss so much easier, and it involves one of the best characters in the game, which is even better. I actually managed to get that on my first try without knowing I had to do that as well. I just had a nudge from one of my colleagues who, I was like, I knew I had to find him, and I just couldn't figure out where. So he was like, yeah, you go this route, which is well out the way. Anyway, but yes, so I am looking forward to that, but that's June 21st, I believe. as of recording this, an hour ago, we found out the second thing I'm looking forward to in June, which is the week after. And when they announced it, the lead producer on stage at PAX announced, well, we were going to release it a week earlier. Then they announced Shadow of the Erd Tree. And we delayed it by a week because I want to play Shadow of the Erd Tree.
I could see that.
Literally, they said on stage, like, yeah, we figured you want to play Shadow of the Erd Tree as well. So we're going to give you 1 week. And then you got to come back to Final Fantasy XIV. Because the new expansion, Dawn Trial, is also coming out. Now, this has been fairly hyped up. It's... you know how you were saying that Destiny 2, you're reaching like the end of a big arc? Yeah. For this one, we've reached the end of our arc. This is a brand new arc, in theory, for Final Fantasy XIV. Minor spoilers for Final Fantasy XIV. In the previous expansion, we ended what was called the Hydaelyn and Zodiac arc, which lasted 10 years. So, you know... Here's to another 10 years.
So it's actually been 10 years, or...
Yeah, 10 years since the re-release of Final Fantasy XIV. So that doesn't even include 1.0.
Yeah, okay, wow. That's that it kind of surprises me. It does surprise me.
I think these short dev cycles, something needs to be done, and much longer planning out needs to be in place. We can't have these small 10-year.
I mean, the thing is, you say that there are stuff that happens in, like, the stuff that's happened in the last 2 years of the final expansion of this story arc that were seeded in the very first release. And it's just like, you literally have to play through the 10 years worth of content to get the full story. But anyway.
I mean, it was a period of time when companies were saying they had a 10-year plan for their game. And, you know what? It seems as though a lot of
at least one of them did.
Yeah, at least one did.
So, yeah, the new expansion is coming out, and the whole thing is it's taking place in a new area that's not been seen on the map before. They're treating it as your character's summer holiday, because you're no longer having to deal with the threat of the end of the world. You're just going somewhere and exploring and treasure hunting and fun stuff like that. You know there's going to be more that's going to happen than that, but hey, it's a different story.
What if I say I really hope that is all it is? It's just literally a new area. It's just a beach.
No, they've already shown off a lot of the area, and there's some stuff they're like hinting at as like, oh yeah, here is where the big threat's going to be, but we can't show it to you yet. So yeah, there's lots to look forward to in it. There's 2 new jobs. There's the Viper, which is like twin sword that you then stick together to make a dual blade. That's for like all the people that thought Reaper wasn't cool or swaggy enough. It was too edgelord. So this is just like, yeah, just cool twin blades. And then the other one is a reference to another Final Fantasy game, but it is a new magic job called the Pictomancer, which is basically you art things into existence.
I was gonna say Picto.
Yeah.
They got like pictogram. Or
yeah. So it's based on a job from Final Fantasy VI, where it literally was the character, after they'd seen an enemy do an attack, they could then paint the enemy and get the attack to go back to them, if that makes sense.
What you're saying is
sort of a weirdo Kami thing going on.
Yeah. But
very rapid character drawings going.
Yeah, I mean, obviously Final Fantasy VI was pixel based, so it was just copying the sprite and then the attack.
I like the idea though of just saying it's like, oh, what are you doing? I'm playing Pokemon Snap with my new ability of Pictomancy.
So yeah, the stuff we've seen so far for Dawn Trial is you can basically paint elemental stuff. So you paint a giant ice cube and it'll come crashing down on their head. You paint a fireball and it'll go flying. And we've seen one monster attack so far, which is you paint a Moogle and it fires a laser beam for some reason. But it's looking to be like quite a cute new class. So I know a few people that are quite excited for it, and I'm sure we might do an additional LMC cast with Skyblaze and probably the Random Genius to spaz on Final Fantasy XIV.
We got enough of you guys who enjoy for Final Fantasy now.
Well, we're hoping more will join us at some point. I mean, you did give it a try at one point, ShadowFox.
I did. It was an MMO. It was certainly an MMO.
I mean, we'd welcome you back with open arms. I think
that's a faint praise there. It was certainly genre the genre it was supposed to be. Genre it was supposed to be.
I mean, to be fair, I don't know how much time you put into it, but you did get far level wise.
No, I mean, I did like a bunch of the starting area stuff. I saved some people. I don't even know.
I mean, you didn't get to your first multiplayer content was the main thing.
Oh, didn't I? Fair enough.
No, you didn't get to the first dungeon because that's level 18. You never reached past level 13.
No, true. No, MMO's always been this like weird spot with me where it's like there's the MMOs where I don't feel like I'm necessarily engaging. I'm just pushing buttons. Don't quite get to me as often. It's like Final Fantasy and Final Fantasy. Phantasy Star. That's the other one. The other fantasy. Like with that one, there's a lot more like running around, moving, and slashing and other stuff. I feel like I'm more like I've played that one probably actually just as much as Final Fantasy, honestly. And it just feels like I'm more in control and I enjoy it.
To be fair, I think the best description I've seen with Final Fantasy XIV is someone who compared it to World of Warcraft and said World of Warcraft is an MMORPG. The multiplayer online, interaction is first and foremost. Final Fantasy XIV is an RPG MMO because the storytelling in the RPG section are first and foremost. It's more about the story and kind of the doing stuff with other people is there if you want to do it.
Interesting distinction.
Yeah,
Okay.
and I actually think it's quite a good one because one of the reasons, bless him, the random genius, we love him dearly, but it is taking him a very long time to get through Final Fantasy XIV. But that's because he's really been taking his time with the story, because that's what he loves about it. And that's fine. And to be fair, for a lot of people, that's what they pick out of it. Is like, that's their best moment, is a storyline thing. It's not, hey, we beat this massive boss. It's, oh, I love the storyline. I love these characters and stuff.
I was hitting next on the talkie boxes quite frequently, quite rapidly. I was kind of, I don't know who this person is. Why do I care who this person is? I don't know.
And the thing is, I think early game, that is a bit of an issue. It's once you get further into the game, you start getting more attached to characters because they appear frequently and they're in your party while you're doing content. So, there is that somewhat of a bond. But yeah, I'm not going to say it's everyone's cup of tea, but I think for me, one of the big points is I've definitely been enjoying it with the people I play. And that's not just the people I regularly play with now. Random Genius and some of our other friends, Nemain and Dracchio. We've been doing a lot with other LMC members, with Skyblaze, with Kaz, and occasionally Gardezio as well, when he comes online, which he's actually slower than the Random Genius at playing the game, which is impressive.
Don't worry, whenever it is I finally get to the game, it'll be just in time to finish the next 10-year cycle.
Yeah, that's fair enough. But yeah,
that's a good point. At least you got 10 years of content to play through. At least you got an entire arc to enjoy.
Well, let me put it this way: the Random Genius still hasn't done all the content from those past 10 years. I haven't done all that content over the past 10 years. I focused on, getting the main story stuff done. And while I've done more than the Random Genius has still got like entire suites of bosses and other things that he still hasn't even touched that we can still go back and do.
It's funny because I, of course, going to ask. So, like the is it how much of it is free and how much of it is subscription versus?
Yes, let's take on the monetary question.
Okay, so I'm going to just sound like an advert here. So there are restrictions for the free playthrough, which I think you found some of them, ShadowFox, was paying players get priority. So if there's too many paying players trying to get in the game, you can't get in. And if you're in the game when too many paying players are trying to get in, you might get kicked out. They'll never do it in the middle of a dungeon or important thing. But once you're out, it'll then go, sorry, you've had to go out because someone who pays for the game on a monthly basis gets priority over you. There's other things that you can't do, like trading and selling stuff, because they don't want the free accounts to like flood the markets with stuff, which makes sense.
Yeah, that's not too much. That's not, and like things like so far, those two things don't really bother me that much. Like you get what you pay for.
Yeah, that's. There are other restrictions, but they make sense if you understand why they're there. So, content-wise, there is only everything that can be done from level 1 to 70. You can do. There's no restrictions. The only content you cannot do is the ultimate battles, which are the hardest difficulty things in the game. And that's at level 70. That would be 2 battles. So you have probably about 40 odd dungeons, probably more than that, of standard 4-man dungeons. You have 2 randomized dungeons sets that have like 100 floors each. You have at least 20 8-man boss battles, 24 8-man raid battles, and 9 24-man mega dungeons, on top of all of the other quests. And you can play every job that is unlocked before that is unlocked with the expansions that are free. So that's every starting job, all 3 jobs in the first expansion, and the 2 jobs in the second expansion. There's all the expansion jobs require you to be at least level 50 to get them anyway, so you need to go through the first campaign regardless. But yeah, other than that, there's no real restrictions. You can even play all of the crafting classes as well. So yeah, there is loads of content you can do.
That's fair. But yeah,
And
I thought for some reason there was some other major restriction that was annoying to me when I played last. Like, it didn't let me do, and I can't remember what it was.
So the other things it won't let you do is you can't start a party. And the reason for that is because bots kept spamming people with party requests, and when they do that, it stops other people being able to invite you into parties. You can't get retainers for more inventory space, but again, that's because they're used to sell items and stopping the market from flooding and stuff. There probably is other restrictions, but there shouldn't be major ones. Oh, you can't buy stuff off the market board as well. Again, to stop you, taking items, making them too scarce. But I think that's about it. Anyway, we've gone way off topic. I'm looking forward to the new expansion. Let's leave it at that.
No worries. I'm starting to enter the realm of things that I only am aware of via gameplay trailers and talking, but it's like things that interest me. They're behind their scenes, but I actually can't really touch yet.
Yeah, I mean, as I said, I think the big thing with 14 is, and there's a couple of people said that the early game shows that it was a bit of a rush job because they were trying to fix the horrendous 1.0 release. And while they've taken some steps to make it not as bad, it's still a little bit of a slog. But that's why it's quite good to go through it with friends, because then you're not having to... The parts of the game that will bog down really badly, which is the dungeons and stuff, where you have to figure out mechanics, you have someone there to help you do that. And also, help you learn the controls and stuff.